I am in the Picacho State Recreation Area on the California side of the Colorado River. This area was known as the Picacho Mining District and comprised over 24 named mines and countless other unnamed prospects. Large-scale mining ended around 1905 when the Laguna Dam was completed, which ended riverboat traffic to this area. I'm hiking out to one of the distant prospects, which seems to have a lot of equipment left behind. It's about a 4-mile hike from here, so it should take 2.5 hours. Most of this hike is along this old road, which runs from the Picacho townsite to the old mine. Here's an example of where the road leaves the wash, because the wash leads through this little break in the rocks, which of course is not wide enough for a vehicle. But you can see on the other side, the road pops back out and continues down the wash. And now the climbing begins. Even though I'm going to end up on the riverbank, to get there, there's 3 or 4 steep climbs followed by steep downhills. You can see the road is downhill from here. You can follow it all the way on the other side of that wash, up that hill and down the other side. I'd like to thank the burros for cutting this nice trail here in the hillside and for not pooping all over it. When the road veers off the drainage, I'll follow the road. Although that would have been, maybe not doable. That second drop off looks pretty tall. Besides the road itself, we're starting to see more signs of miners having been here. There's a big old pipe. That's the most interesting barrel I've ever seen. No idea why all those holes are punched into it, but pretty weird. And then there's nails. There's nails right below the last row of cuts. Yeah, you can see there was something, I guess maybe it was just it wouldn't be fire because it's that piece in there is made out of wood. I don't even know if we can see that. But yeah, there was some kind of platform in there. This is likely some homestead or miners camp. You see a lot of holes dug into the ground. This one's pretty deep. Most of them are not that deep. And then there's just artifacts everywhere. All right, we're still walking the old road, but it's getting harder and harder to recognize. So my destination is just over that first hill after all this greenery. But to get there, we have to go all the way around here. But not to worry, the burros have made us a trail. Thank you, burros. I'm not sure if these foundations are mine related or if they served a different purpose. But I'm sure they weren't built along the river for the view. This uppermost foundation has this ramp leading into it, and my guess is the floor was always made of dirt. It was never concreted over. And then over here on seemingly the backside is about 6 footings. I assume this huge block of concrete is a step, but boy, it's very well made. The top is smoothed over pretty good and the corners are rounded and smoothed over. And you can see that the 3 sides were used, the forms were some rough cut lumber, and you can see the grain of the lumber in the concrete still. And then on the 4th side, looks like they used some corrugated metal for the form on the backside. It's all rounded. And this survey marker says that this site was once a river gaging station. Here's the second foundation. This one likely had a floor. You can see where the floor joists were secured in the concrete. I guess this is some kind of old stove. But you can see just all kinds of artifacts down here. Old steel, some wiring, There's some lead piping. That might be a sewage pipe. Probably went down to the river. And mostly just a lot of junk. There's a ton of nails just lying around. Some broken glass on this side. And of course the vegetation has taken over in here. And then on the outside of the building, you have this bracing for some kind of large machinery, I guess. I don't know if that'd be generators or whatever else they would have out here back in those days. All right, we're in a canyon, not too far from those foundations we just looked at. And you can see there's remnants of activity here. Here's an old barrel. Here's another barrel buried in the brush. And up ahead you can start seeing some heavy machinery. You can see about halfway up that hill, maybe 2/3, you can see there's certainly some tailings lying there, and most likely a horizontal shaft beyond it. We'll go check that out in a bit. And here's an old classic. You can see part of the motor is still, geez, the bulk of the motor is still there. Take a look inside. Oh, look, see, this was mostly made of metal, but you can see there's some wood trim in there. So here's the driver's side door, and on the other side, the passenger side door. Pretty cool, those are still here. Don't know why they're not attached, but the back part of this truck, you can see that that one piece that starts from the top left and goes down to the bottom right. It hinges right there, and it's probably some kind of shovel device for digging. The deeper I walk into this canyon, the more stuff I see. Looks like a old motorway back there. There's another truck. Air tank, maybe? Yeah, there's an old compressor. Probably was a compressor on this stand right here. And this hunk of metal is probably a somewhat portable ball mill. Drop some more in there and spin it around, and it gets crushed by big iron, like softball sized rocks or pieces of iron. There's nothing in there. You can see the ore was dumped into this chute, and then it traveled on this still somewhat intact conveyor into the ball mill, where it was spun and crushed. The gearworks are still there. And can't see nothing on this side. Alright, here's another classic automobile. This truck still has some ore in it, among other stuff. But all the wheels are gone. The tailgate's gone. Got a few bullet holes in it. Oh, you got some good fenders on this side. And here's that other old engine. V8. There is another shaft right here, and we'll go take a look, see what that's all about. Got some pipes leading into the shaft, probably air pipe. Danger, open mine shafts keep out. Hey, oh yeah, I'm not going in there. Ugh. Oh man. So there's this large piece of steel that is covering this deep shaft, and then probably can't really see inside, but it doesn't appear to go too far back, so I am not going in this one. But still pretty cool that you could if you wanted to. Yeah, down here is where the action is. Alright, so there's the old truck with the shovel on the back of it. And here's that tailings pile I pointed out earlier. I climbed all the way up here just to be disappointed that it's a vertical, it's not really vertical, but it's not, oh my goodness. Maybe I will go down in there. This part worries me about trying to get back out. And I don't know how far it goes back there. Well, I've come down a little ways here. I may crawl down a little bit more, but check out the geology in that rock. I'm sure it must be gold. All right. So I'm halfway down that incline, lying flat on my back. And you can clearly see there's a rock wall back there. So this is the end of my adventure. All right. Well, that's about everything. I am going to start walking back. It was about a 4-mile walk here. It took me about 2.5 hours. But I'm only expecting it to be about 4 miles back and take about 2, maybe 2.5 hours. Thanks for watching.